The SEC received over 45,000 tips, complaints, and referrals in 2024 alone. That is the most in a single year ever. And if your RA is not fully compliant, it is not a question of if they find out. It's a matter of when they're going to find out. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what the SEC discovers during violations, what they do, and how they come after you throughout this entire thing. And there is a ton of information here. I'm super excited. I spent hours researching this because I've heard of it, but I've never actually seen it. And you might even know somebody that this has actually happened to. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from Secure Wealth IT. We are a MSP, or a managed service provider. We specifically help financial firms, RIAs, stay compliant and make sure that their technology works that they want, whether it's sharing files, things running smoothly, software is being set up, new employee onboardings, I shouldn't say new, but employee offboardings. We offer a ton of different services for financial firms. If you want to learn more about us, you can head over to securewealthit.com, and you might even see the resources tab coming up here, and there will be some stuff very, very soon. It'll be jam packed with some things that you can do, you can use, you can leverage immediately in your RIA firm or financial firm in general. So let's talk about the 5 ways the SEC finds out, because there is so much. Routine examinations. Believe it or not, the SEC examines RAs roughly every 3 to 5 years. So if you don't remember the last time you were examined, you better be ready for it, right? It's probably coming. New firms also typically get examined in their first 18 months. So about a year and a half. So in that, when you first starting, you have about a year and a half before they come knocking. And if you've been around, you can expect 3 to 5 years. Now, there's no literature that I found so far that, hey, if you've been on a really good track record, that it'll happen on the longer side. It's just the average that we've been able to find online. And they use a risk scoring algorithm based on your Form ADV filings. I don't know how they do that behind the scenes. There's no information currently available for that. But if you're going fast, you've changed ownerships, a deal is risky in risky asset classes, you, believe it or not, move up the list. So if you're doing everything kosher, then you should probably be fine. And they review your books, records, disclosures, and compliance programs. That is one of the biggest things out there. And they don't get this information. Yes, they're doing it every 3 to 5 years. But the worst thing, especially in 2024, and the data hasn't been published for 25 or 26 yet, but it's all about whistleblower tips. Truth be told, the majority of it actually happens from whistleblowers. And what I'm about to tell you is going to make you a little bit angry. So before you get angry, if you could hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Over 24,000 whistleblowers submitted tips in the financial year of 2024. Anyone can file a tip. There's no restrictions. There's no nothing. Employees, clients, competitors, vendors, anyone, quite literally anyone can do this. And tips are submitted through a simple form on the sec.gov website. And the worst part about it all, I shouldn't say the worst, but whistleblowers stay completely anonymous. But here's the part where you're going to get angry. I'm giving you fair warning. They can earn 10 to 30% of the money the SEC collects from the enforcement action. So, out of all the money, somebody's making money on that. And there are companies out there, and I hate that I have to be the one that says this, but there are companies out there that are putting in the tips to the SEC website and they're getting paid on it. And I'm talking about money, because the SEC has paid out $2.2 billion to whistleblowers, which is an insane amount of money. So that means a single unhappy employee or client can trigger an investigation, and they're going to get paid for it, which is the worst part. So they also have for cause exams. These happen when the SEC already has a reason to suspect something went wrong. More intense than routine exams, right? That's why it's for cause. This could be triggered by a whistleblower tip, a client complaint, or suspicious activity in filing, which is a little bit different. So you have a couple different categories that actually show up. And sometimes they show up, unfortunately, unannounced with zero heads up. So enforcement sweeps, right, is the fourth one. The SEC picks a hot topic and examines a bunch of firms at one time. Recent sweeps targeted marketing rules, hypothetical performance in ads, and off-channel communications, which I've already spoken about, which is one of the most important things, right? So you have texting clients or on personal phones as a prime example of that. You have Facebook, Signal, WhatsApp, all of these communication platforms off channel, meaning it's not happening through your system. It's very important. The marketing rule sweep alone led to changes against more than a dozen firms, or charges, not changes, sorry. One firm got hit with a $6.5 million penalty for off market communications. And I talked all about this in a prior video. It is insane. And a big one coming currently is the Regulation S&P deadline for June 3rd, 2026 for smaller RIAs, sub $1.5 billion in assets. So you can expect a sweep after this date. And it takes a couple weeks. If you're working with a tech firm that's like, hey, we're going to help you, you can't expect to wait until the day before and hope that things are going to work. You have to start planning. It takes us a couple weeks to get you ready for that. So even if you start on June 1st, you're not going to be compliant by June 3rd. Unfortunately, you'd have to move heaven and earth to make that actually happen. And five, the fifth way that they actually find you is through state regulators. If your RIA is a state registered under $100 million in assets, your state securities regulator examines you. The NASAA coordinates exam sweeps across multiple states at once. So if you're like, you know what, I'm in North Carolina, but South Carolina's getting hit, you might be getting hit at the exact same time. It's not like, they're going to go from the left, from the west to the east or the east to the west of the country, south to north and north to the south. That doesn't happen. They're sweeping through multiple states at one time, and there's not any particular, hey, it's going to go from the west to east. You might just be it. That's how it's going. There hasn't been any, hey, this is the process that actually happens, or you can get a heads up when it's actually happening. And states can take immediate enforcement action without needing to go through a long court process because it's the state, it's the local government. And state and SEC regulators share information with each other. So just because it happens with the SEC doesn't mean the state won't hear about it. And if it happens with the state, I promise you the SEC is going to hear about it. That's going to be the big thing. So now that you know how they find out, let me walk you through what actually happens once they do, because this is really probably why you're here, right? So, the step by step process after a violation. Look, I hope that you're watching this and you are not in the middle of a violation. And I hope that you are cyber secure. If you're not, call me, right? But let's talk about it. One, you get notified. You get a call or a letter saying an exam is happening. This is your heads up. They send a list of documents and records you need to produce. You are expected to respond quickly and have everything organized. Now, I say respond quickly. There is no clear what quickly defines. I assume that at some point or another, they are going to quickly might be, I would say, a week or two because you might just be on vacation. The staff might be out of office. That's a real thing. I would say quickly is a week and a half to maybe 2 weeks. Some of you might not think that's quickly. I would probably try to produce it a little bit quicker than that, but that's probably about the longest quickly works for. You should also let your chief compliance officer know, and there should be a single point of contact in your firm. Somebody that's saying, hey, I'm taking the responsibility for all of this. Now, the exam. Examiners review your documents, interview staff, and may inspect your office. So your office also has to be compliant. They are looking at your compliance programs, your disclosures, your books, your records, your marketing, your cybersecurity policies, everything. They have a massive job to do. And remember, they're doing this all day, every day. You're not going to hide something. They will find it. They are experts in what they do. They compare what you actually do against what your policies say you do. And length varies. Could be days, could be weeks. It's not exactly the most sexy process out there. Now, step 3, the deficiency letter. Most exams end here. You get a letter listing what they found wrong. This is not a fine yet. It's a warning, which is good. I don't think we want warnings either, but I'll take a fine over warning any day. You typically have 30 days to respond and explain how you will fix each issue. which is the saving grace because now you can explain that how you're going to fix it and actually go fix it. How you respond matters a lot. A weak or defensive response can make things worse. You want to have a strong response, you want to have they're telling you what they found wrong. You have to fix those things in a bullet point format so they get the information they're actually looking for. That's really what they want. Now, if you don't do that, they escalate to enforcement. This is where things get a little rough. If your response is incomplete, defensive, or you do not actually fix the problems, it gets handled it gets handed over to or handled by the Division of Enforcement. Whoever's over there, please come up with some better names. Uh, we could do better than Division of Enforcement, right? If you get examined against again later, right? There's going to be some other things that actually happen as well. But the problem is, if those same problems are still there, those become repeat violations and almost always get referred to enforcement. So if they're seeing things the exact same time over and over and over and over again, they're going to come after you even worse. And this is where it goes from fix this to we are we're coming for you. We're looking for the money. And then step 5 in this process, a formal investigation. This is really what you want to avoid. The first part, the exam, is totally fine. They want the information there. They're telling you what's wrong. They're giving you the opportunity to fix it. You should be fixing this. The formal investigation process is where things get not so good. Investigations are conducted privately. The SEC gathers evidence, interviews people, and reviews records. You may get subpoenaed, and this can drag out for months or even years. So, moral of this video, there's still a bunch of good information in this video, but moral of this video is avoid the formal investigation. It's okay to get a warning. Don't sweat it. 3 to 5 years, you're good. Come up with a great plan. Don't get defensive on it. Fix the problems, and you are home free for another 3 to 5 years. It's not that bad. But once they start the formal investigation, this is when the bad things start to happen. There's actually a 6th and 7th step to this whole thing. Next is going to be the Wells notice. This is the SEC formally telling you that you are being considered for them bringing charges to you. It's not good, but they're giving you a notice for it. You get a chance to respond and argue why you should not get this. Under the 2025 enforcement manual, firms now have more time to respond, which is kind of nice. But if you don't respond to this, or if you don't do a good job, right, then the enforcement actions actually kick in. But if you've been cooperating or you self-reported, this can help you a lot, right? If you know that you're completely out and you self-report, there was a whole study done that one firm didn't get any fines. They just got a slap on the wrist. But they said, "Look, we're out of compliance. We are going to work towards it." Self-reporting isn't a bad thing. I don't think everyone should be doing it, but it's not a bad thing. But what's the enforcement action? There's typically 2 paths. This is when it goes from bad to worse. Civil actions in federal court or administrative processing. That's it. Civil actions can result in court orders, fines, a ton of different things. They can actually take a portion of your profits. Administrative actions can result in cease and desist orders, profit, basically taking part of your profit, right? This can also be being barred from the industry in the absolute worst case. I hope it doesn't get that. I hope it doesn't go this far for anybody, right? But many firms settle before it actually goes to trial on the actual fines. And that's really where the penalties come in. Civil fines in recent cases that I've been able to find range from $75,000 for individuals up to $6.5 million for larger firms. So $75,000 for an individual, I don't know about you, but if you have $75,000 just laying around for an individual, that's you're doing pretty good. But 6.5 million for a larger firm might not be that much money for a larger firm. The numbers are a little bit skewed. I mean, it's not a little bit of money. But you have also disgorgement, which means you pay back any money that you made from the violation. Basically, them taking the money that you're making. Individuals can be suspended or permanently barred from the industry. Obviously, settling can disqualify your firm from making certain exempt offerings, and then everything is public record. That's the worst part about all of this. Clients, prospects, and competitors can see it. And the last thing you want to do is lose trust in your clients. And that brings me to the hidden cost of this entire thing. The fine is rarely the most expensive part. It's the things that happen after the fine, the things that happen after the violations. Leadership time is consumed by documentation, right? Which means you have your CEOs, COOs, upper management. They are taking care of all of that, which means they're not leading the firm in the right direction. They're sucking away your time, right? The growth initiative stall because once again nobody's actually focusing on all of this, and it kind of almost prevents you from growing because you're doing damage control at that point. And guess what? People don't want to work for a firm that is consistently getting fined and has penalties against it. And the worst is smart clients know how to find this, right? And that loses trust in clients because you have to communicate this with clients. Your insurance is going to go up. I mean, the list goes on and on. You have internal trust between partners and the teams that are going to break down because people are seeing this kind of stuff and they are interviewing people in the office. It's not like it's a guessing game here. And to actually go through and fix this full remediation far exceeds how much the fine is actually going to be. And when I say full remediation, I'm talking about fixing the client churn, the insurance, the management, management fixing things and being taken away from actually being able to grow the firm. It stinks. But there is some good news, right? Two firms in a recent batch of enforcement actions avoided fines entirely by self-reporting and cooperating completely, which is nice. It's good to see that. The SEC updated 2026 enforcement manual now formally rewards self-reporting and early remediation, which means, hey, we're doing something wrong. We know that we're doing something wrong. We are going to actively work towards fixing it before you start the examination. So it sounds kind of crazy, but if you know that you are out of compliance, letting them know, hey, we know that we're out of compliance, but we are going to remediate is not a bad thing, right? And settlements with no or reduced penalties are now officially listed as benefits of cooperation. So that's a nice thing to know that if you do the right things, basically, if you find a problem, you fix it and report it, you're going to be okay. But you don't want to wait for them to find it. That is the most important thing. Because here's the thing, the SEC is not looking for perfect firms. And look, I know that you might think you're perfect. I might think I'm perfect, although I wish I had some hair, right? These are the important things. They know that not everyone's going to be perfect. They're looking for firms that have real compliance programs that document what they do and that fix the problems when they come up, when they find them. And the firms that get hit the hardest are the ones that ignore the obligations, they scramble to backfill records when the exam shows up and aren't doing the right things to begin with. They know people are going to have problems. It's not You guys are there to help people with their finances and their assets and make sure those assets work for them and build the future that they want or pay for their kids college or whatever that people want to spend their money on or invest in. That's what you guys are there for. What they're worried about or what they don't want to see is the people that just there's no nice way to put it. The people that don't care or the people that are going to be like, I'm still great and no, I'm not. I'm not working with them. That's where things get really, really crazy. If you do the right thing, you genuinely try to do the right thing, they're going to come back with a list of warnings and things that you have to fix. You go fix them. You're on your merry way, and they're not going to bother you. Remember, they're not looking for the perfect firms. Do perfect firms exist? I'm sure they do. Are they unicorns at this point? Yes, but that's okay. If you're not perfect and you're doing the right things or you're trying to do the right things, you're going to be okay after all of this. If I scared the heck out of you, I apologize. That was not the goal of this video. If you want some help making sure that you're compliant, making sure your technology works, you're welcome to head over to securewealthit.com. We are happy to help you. You can fill out a form on our contact us page. Let me know, hey, this is what we need help with. This is what we're doing, where you're located. We are absolutely happy to intervene. It is literally part of our services and what we do. I wish you nothing but success in this. I hope that if you've watched this video, you don't end up getting fines or penalties. Just a nice, hopefully nothing. But at the most, a little warning, you fix it, everyone goes home happy, and now you know what to expect. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.